Hello everyone, my name is Jitendra Sareen and I welcome all of you on behalf of Team Drishti in the discussion of some of the important topics for UGC NET JRF 2023, right? For this particular exam, and the name of the series in which we are discussing the questions and all, that is the last lab, right? So in last lab we have discussed some of the uh, important topics in quants and in reasoning and in data interpretation also, right? So with today we'll be starting with data interpretation once again, right? So let's see some of the questions today in data interpretation which are calculation intensive, but with some methods we can ease out that calculation. And I hope if you adopt those methods while doing your calculations of profit, some of the times we have to calculate the percentages, some of the times we have to calculate or compare the ratios and all those things will be learning in this particular session, right? So let's start with this. Is again we are discussing data interpretation in this, right? So let's see the question, and with the help of questions we will be discussing the methods also. Okay, here one table is given, right? What he is saying, the above table shows details of expenditure incurred by a tea garden during the years 2008 to 2012, right? So these are what expenses, expenditures incurred by a tea garden, right? So from the year 2008 till 2012, right? We can see there are different heads on which expenditure is there. One head is salary, that is in crores, right? So 57.6 crores is spent in salary, in fuel 19.6. Same manner, bonus was given of 0.6 crores, interest on loans is 4.68, and some taxes, that is 16.6 crores. So this is what every year, if I sum up all the heads, that will give me what? Total expenditure of that particular year, right? Now we have to answer the following question based on the data given. So first of all, whenever you see any question based on DI, you should read the instructions carefully and you should understand what is given in the table, right? Or maybe some graph. So let's start with the questions here. Now the first question is, the average yearly expenditure on interest on loans during the period 8 to 12 was approximately, right? So we have to find what? Average expenditure on interest on loans. So we will see interest on loans. This is the data, right? And we have to simply find the average of all. So we can do sum of all of them and then we can find average by dividing that sum by 5, right? So here if you add all of them, that is 8 plus 2 10, 18, 18 plus 8, that is 26, then 2 plus 6 8 plus 5 13 plus 3 16 plus 2 18 and 8 again 26, carry is 2, 2 plus 4 6 6 12 8 20 27 and 9 is what? 36, right? So can I say this is what? 36.66, okay? And then we can find average. So 36.66 we have to divide by 5 to find average, right? So we can see from here my answer has to come with 7, right? That has to be 7 point, we can say 33, right? So D option is the correct answer here. Let's see other questions. Okay, again the same table, and the question on this is bonus as a percentage of salary was highest in which year, right? So there are certain years 8 9 10 and 11. So bonus as a percentage of salary, right? So let's see 8 9 10 and 11. So bonus as a percentage of salary, right? This we have to find. So obviously for every year we can write. Likewise in 2008 we can write 0.6 divided by 57.6 into 100, right? So I will write 0.6 divided by 57.6 into 100, right? That is in 2008. Then 2009 is 0.5 divided by 68.4, means 0.5 divided by 68.4 into 100. Then for 2010 we can write in the same manner, that is 0.76 divided by 64.8, right? 0.76 divided by 0.76 divided by 64.8 into 100, right? And then again we can write for this year 0.74 divided by 67.2, right? That is 0.74 divided by 67.2 into 100, right? So if you observe here, we have to find which is highest in terms of percentages. So can I say 100 will be there with every number, and we have to compare which one is highest, which one is lesser. So there is no need to calculate with 100. And now let's check all these options, all these fractions, right? Now if you compare these two, suppose if we compare these two, can I say for this number numerator is lesser and denominator is more, right? So definitely numerator is lesser, denominator is more. So out of these two, this one would be higher, right? So this cannot be my answer, right? So we can avoid this, and then further you can see some other numbers. Okay, now if you see 0.6 and 0.5, so again we can see 0.5 is less than 0.6 and the denominator is more, right? So denominator is more, so this number also cannot be my answer, because out of these two, this one has to be higher, right? Now we need to compare 0.6 and 0.76 after that. Now this is what numerator is more, denominator is also more. So let's check these two. So here suppose I remove the decimal, this is what 6 divided by 576, and this ratio is what, if I remove this and this, I have to have 1 0 over there, right? With 0 if I see, I can write it 7.6. So this number is 7.6 divided by 648. This we can write, right? I hope both the things are clear. Now if we can cancel out something, let's cancel, right? This is 6, we can divide this, right? This is 1, 6 into 9 is 54, 36, 6. So this ratio is 1 by 96, right? This ratio again, if we cancel with 4 easily, this is 1.9, this is what, 4 into 8, 4 into 2, that is 1.9 divided by sorry, this is 100, 16 into 4 is 64, right? 162, right? Now these two fractions are, we have to compare. So whenever we have to compare the fraction and try to find out which one is greater or lesser, one simple thing what you can do, you can cross multiply the numbers, right? And then you can see what is the result, right? Suppose 162 into 1, this I will write here, 162 into 1, so that is 162, and here this will be 96 multiplied by 1.9, right? Now this number further if I calculate, 96 into, suppose this is 2 minus 0.1, so 96 into 2 is 192 minus 9.6, right? So that will be close to, can I say, 182, right? So after having done the cross multiplication, we can check which number is greater. We have multiplied, I have written number here, We have multiplied these two. I have written number here. Out of these two numbers, which one is greater? Here I can say 182 is greater. So 182 is this, where the product written is greater on the top of that fraction would be considered greater also, right? So here we have cross multiplied on this number on the top of this fraction, this product is greater. So if this is greater, then that fraction is also greater, right? So this is 7.6 by 648. So this was for 2010. So my answer is what? Option C. So some of the options we can negate just by observing them, right? Just left will be only two options, then two options we can do in this manner, cross multiply, and then we can check. Now let's see further questions. Again, this is the table, and the question is, in which year was the total expenditure over the 5 heads of expenditure listed in the table above the least, right? So total expenditure is least. So let's check. So these are 5 heads. Total expenditure means we have to add all of them. We have to add all of them. And we have to check for 8, 9, 10, 11. Right. So only for these 4 years we have to check. Now, either I sum up all of them for 8, for 9, for 10 or for 11, or we can observe the numbers and guess which one would be greatest. Now in this, there are certain numbers written for 2008, right? Now for 2009, right, we can say this number is more, this is also more, right? This is less, but it's very 0.1, right? Only lesser by 0.1. Rather, these numbers are more by 2, by 3, something like that. Here you can see there's a huge change, right? So it won't matter. Here also it is increased. Here also it is increased, right? So can I say that in 2008 and 9, right? 2008 is lesser. So 2009 cannot be the answer. Can I compare other years also in the same manner, right? Here we can say this is plus, this is also plus. Here it is again more than 0.6. This is also more than this. This is lesser than that, but the difference is only near about 2, where this is more than 2, right? More than 2 is the increase. So overall, again, can I say 2010 total expenditure will be more than 2008. So this also we can remove. In the same manner, if you check the next one, this is plus, this is plus, this is plus, this is also more than this, and this is also more than that. So obviously 2011 also would be total expenditure is lesser than in comparison to 2008, right? So can I say that we have to find the least expenditure? My answer should be what? 2008. So some of the questions we can do based on observation, and this is actually data interpretation, right? Okay. Now let's see further. Again the same table, and the question is, in which years the percentage growth of expenditure on salary as compared to the previous year was more than 10%, right? So percentage growth of expenditure on salary, right? So let's see for salary, in which year we have to check. So I can say 9, 10, 11, 12, all those years are there, right? Let's see where it is more than 10%, right? So this is what? Salary. Now in 2009, if I see, so I have to compare in comparison to last, right? So if it is increased by 10%, so 10% increment on 57.6. Now what is 10% of 57.6? That is just 5.76. So 5.76 is what? 10%, right? 10% of 57.6 is what? 5.76. Now if I see the difference here, that is 57.6, this is 68.4, right? So can I say, obviously this difference is what? More than 5.76. So can I say in the year 2009, the percentage increase is more than 10%. I hope it is correct, right? So in 2009. Okay, then in 2010 in comparison to last year. So if I see this, what is the difference here? Near about 4, right? And the 10% of this is what? 6.84, and the difference is 4 only. So obviously this is not 10%, this is less than 10%, right? So 2010 there is a growth which is less than 10%. In the same manner, if I want to check with 11, so difference is what? 3 only, near about 3, right? But the 10% of 64.8 will be 6.48. So 3 is less than this. So again there is no percentage change more than 10. Less than 10% is the growth. So this is also not my answer. Now we'll see the last. Now here if we see 67 to 84, there is a huge increase, right? Can I say 67 to 84, there is a increase of near about 14, right? Near about 14. And what is the 10% of 67.2? That is 6.72. So this increase is more than 6.72. So this is obviously more than 10%. So in 2012 also I can say the percentage growth is more than 10%. So how many years we have got growth more than 10%? 2009 and 2012. Now we'll check the options where we are getting 2009 and 2012, right? So this is my correct answer, 2009 and 2012, right? Now let's see further. Again the same question, same table. We'll see what is the question. The in which year the expenditure of taxes and interest on loan, was less than the expenditure on fuel, right? So taxes and interest on loan should be less than expenditure on fuel, and we have to check for 9, 10, 11, 12. So we'll be considering only this bracket, right? So this we can see interest on loan and taxes. I suppose the same thing. Taxes and interest of loans, and this is what? Fuel, right? So these two, right? These two are here, sum of these two, and these are the numbers. So we have to check where taxes and interest on loan was less than, means fuel should be more, right? Means expenditure on fuel should be more, right? So here we can see this is 21 20, and 6, near about 27. This is 22.4. This is lesser, right? We have to find where expenditure on fuel is more. That is 18, 8 plus 14, that is 22. This is 20. Again this is lesser, not possible. Then it is 17 plus 7, that is 23, and let's say 0.28, and this 23 point, let's say this is 88, right? And this is more than that, right? So this is a possibility. Next, if you check 19 plus 9, that is 28, plus this, so this will be 29 point something, right? 29 point something. So again, that is, we can say from here, that is, and we have to find where fuel is more, right? Fuel is more, expenditure on fuel is more. So this is what? 29 near about. This is 28.4. This is also not possible. So can I say in this particular year 2011, right, I can say expenses on interest on loans and taxes together is less than the expenditure on fuel. So my answer is what? 2011. So these all questions are based on observation, right? Little bit observation, little bit of calculation, that too approximately, right? And we can find the answer. Okay, now in this table, this is a new question. One more set on data interpretation I will be discussing with you. In this, let's read the instructions and all. First of all, the table given embodies data on the production, exports, and per capita consumption of rice in country P for 5 years from 12 to 16. These are 5 years, right, for country P year wise. So production we can see here in million kgs. So in 2012 production of rice, right, production of rice is this. Out of this is exported. Exports is what? 114 million kgs. And what is per capita consumption in kgs? That is 36.25 kgs per capita consumption. So this is given. Now some more things. Some other things which are provided with the question is where per capita consumption is equal to consumption in million kgs, right, divided by population in millions, right. So consumption in million kg. Now consumption data is not given to us, right. Here it is given in the next line that consumption in million kgs is equal to what? Production minus exports. So production minus export will give me what? Consumption, right. So we can find, if I subtract these two, right, I can find consumption here, right, consumption. This data I can write here, right, if in any of the question it is needed. Now let's see next question. First question is what? The percentage increase in the consumption of rice over the previous year was the highest in which year, right. So in the very first question he is talking about consumption, right. So let's write the consumption in every year. Now 186.5 minus this is, right, so this minus this is what? 0.5, right, then 6 minus 4 is 2, then 18 minus 11 is 7, then 202 minus 114, right, so that is what? 86 plus 2, 88, right, then 238 minus 130, that is 108, then 221 minus 116, that is 105, and then 215 minus 88. So 12 and 115, that is 127, right. So these are the consumption. Now we have to check for these 4 years where the percentage growth, and let's check whether percentage growth what we have to find is the highest, right, is the highest. Now let's see percentage growth from this 2012 to 2013. So this is the increase, and this increase is over 72.5. Right. So what is the increase here? So 88 minus 72.5. So can I say that is 15.5 over 72.5. So let's write here 15.5 over 72.5 into 100, right. So as we have done in the last question, there is no need to write 100 with them, okay, just we can compare fractions. Which fraction is more will be giving me what? Highest percentage increase. Now next we see in 2014, right, from here to here, can I say what is the increase? 20 on 88, right. So in this year, that is 20 on 88, all right. Then this year, so this year we can see there is a percentage decrease, there is no percentage increase, so there is no need to consider 2015. Now in 2016, right, from 5 to this is what? Increase is 12 on 105, right, increase is 12 on 105, 12 on 105, right. Now these are three ratios which we need to compare. Okay, right. Now, if you compare these two ratios, very simple, right? Numerator I can say is lesser and the denominator is more. So obviously out of these two, this would be greater, right? So this also cannot be my answer. So 16 and 15, these cannot be my answer. My answer would be either 13 or 14. Now again, the same thing, we can compare the ratios, right? So let's simplify this. Suppose I cancel it out and we can cancel with 5 also. This is 31. So 5 into 1 is 5, 5 into 4, this is right. This we can cancel with 4, then 5 by 22, right? So let's compare these two. Again 31 upon 145 and 5 by 22, right? So these two when we multiply, we can write the result here. So 5 into 5 is 25, carry is 2, then 14 into 5, 70 plus 2 this. Now when we multiply these two, we can write the result here. So 21 into 1 is 22, carry is 2, 21, 2 into 3, that is 66 plus 2 is 68. Now we can see out of these two, this number is greater. So obviously this fraction would be greater. So that is 5 by 22, right? 5 by 22 means 2014, right? So this is the way we can compare the fractions and get the answers correctly. So 2014 is the correct answer for this. Now again the same data. Let's see what's the question. What is the population of the country in the year 2014 in millions? So in 2014 we have to find the population. Okay, now in 2014 we have to find population, and this is given that per capita consumption is equal to consumption in million kg divided by population, right? So per capita consumption in 14 is given 38.7. This is per capita consumption, right? And consumption in million. So consumption in million here is what? This minus this, that is 108. This is what? Consumption, right? So per capita consumption is equal to consumption by population. So can I write the population will be equal to consumption divided by per capita consumption. So let's do it. Population is equal to what? Consumption divided by per capita consumption. Okay, now we can see consumption was 108 million and per capita consumption was 38.7. 38.7. So this we have to find. So obviously my answer will be 2 point something. It is close to 3, right? Okay, but close to 3, you can see all the options are close to 3. So we have to calculate it properly. So if I remove the decimal, we have to add 1 0, right? So 1080, and the options are very close, right? We can calculate this 387 into 2, right? So 2 into 7 is 14, 1, 16 plus 1, 17, 1, that is 7. Then 10 minus 4 is 6, this is 0, 10 minus 7 is 3, 306, right? So again I will put one decimal, I can add 1 0 here. Now 3060, right? So can I say this is close to 400? With 400 that will be what? 4 into 728, right? So 7 times it will go. So with 7, can I say these two cannot be the answers, but my answer is again 2.72 and 79. So again we have to find it further, right? So 7 times of this is 7 7 49, right? 4, 7 into 8 56 plus 4 is 60, 6, 7 into 3 21 plus 6 is 27. So this is 10 minus 9 is 1, this is 5, this is 3, and then one more 0 we can add. Now we can think if it is 4, so that will be close to 9, right? It will be close to 9. So obviously that will be near about 9. So what we can say, our answer should be option C. So in some of the questions, right, we have to do this kind of activity, but just to know what is the number, we have to write up after one place of decimal. After one place of decimal, again there were two options, so that's why we have to check one more place, right? So 2.79 is the answer for this. Right, let's move to the next question. Again the same table. Now in this, the ratio of exports to consumption in the given period was the highest in the year. Exports to consumption, and we have to find for 12, 13, 14 and 15 only. Exports to consumption. So this is 12, 13, 14, 15. So 12, 13, 14, 15. Only for these 3 years, 4 years we have to check. So first of all, we need to write the consumptions. That is, I think we have calculated earlier also, right? That is 88. This is 108 and this is 105, right? Now these are what? Consumptions, right? These all are consumptions in millions. Okay. Now what fraction we have to find? Exports to consumption. Exports to consumption, right? So let us write all the things. Export to consumption. So here it is 114 divided by 72.5, right? Then for 2013, it is 114 by 88. Let me write all of them once, then we can compare and check how we can find the answer quickly. 130 upon 108. 130 upon 108. And for this year, this is 116 upon 105. 116 upon 105. Now we have to check which fraction is greater. So obviously if I compare these two, the numerator is same, denominator of second fraction is more. So overall this would be lesser. So this cannot be my answer because we have to find the highest, right? So 2013 cannot be the answer. Now if we see the other ones, right? Are you getting that 114 divided by, let it be 73, right? Then again it will be near about 1.6 times, more than 1.5 times. That is more than 1.5 times, because it is 73, then half of 73. Half of 73, can I say that will be 36, near about 36.5, right? So if I add 36, that is more than 36 times. If I add 72.5, if I add 36, again 114 is more than that. So the value of this ratio will be obviously more than 1.5. Now if we check these ratios, so obviously this ratio we can see this is not even 1.5, right? Not even 1.5, because 1.5, 50% of that, if I add in this, then it will become 1.5 times of that, right? So this cannot be the answer. And obviously with the same reasons, it is not 1.5 times, any closer to 1.5 times. This also cannot be answer. The correct answer is what? First option A, that is 2012, right? So this is the observation basically which we should be giving in every question of data interpretation. Right, now again the same table. Let's see in which year the population of country was the highest. So again, for finding out the population, right, we know that population is equal to what? Total consumption divided by per capita consumption, right? Divided by per capita consumption. Okay, now let's see for 13, 14, 15 and 16. So for these 4 years we have to check. So first of all we can write total consumption. This is 88, this is 108, this is 105 and this is 127, right? Now again we have to find the ratio of, let's check once again, population of country. So for population Population is what? Consumption divided by per capita consumption, right? So these are the values of consumption divided by per capita consumption, right? So this we have to find. So if you observe again from here, right, this is 35.2, this is 88. Okay, so can I say that will be near about more than, slightly more than 2 times of 35, 80, because 2 times of 35 is 70, right, and 18 more. So can I say this is near about 2.5 times, right? Right. Now again in the same manner, this is 38.7, this is 108, right? So this is again close to 3 but not exactly 3. This is again 40, 105. So 3 times would be 120. So this is less than 3 times. Now 42 into and 127. Can I say this is near about 3 times? So 3 times of this is what? 3 into 2, 6, 3 into 2, 3 into 4, 12. So this is 3 times of that. So can I say answer to this division will be slightly more than 3? This is less than 3, less than 3, this is also less than 3, right? So in this ratio only we can get the answer slightly more than 3. So this ratio would be what? Greatest, right, in 2016. So my answer should be what? Option D for population. The calculation I have shown you in the previous page, right? Okay, now again the same table, and the question is, what is the average consumption of rice over the years 2012 to 2016? So average of the consumption we have to find. So let's see what are the consumptions, average of the consumptions, right? So consumption we have seen, this is 72.5, this is 88, this is 108, this is 105, this is 127, right? So we can add all of them. So that is 0.5, then 2 plus 8, 10, 18, 18 plus 5, 23, 23 plus 7 is 30, right? Then 3 plus 7, 10, and 8, 18, 18 and 2 is 20. Again 2, 2 plus 3 is 5, right? So that is what? 505 is the sum of all, right? And we have to find average. So what is how many data? 5. So this total divided by 5. So I can see my answer should be what? 101. So if we see here in the option, fourth option D is the correct answer, right? So we have discussed 5 questions in this set also. So in this particular session, I have discussed with you 2 sets of DI. In both the sets, I can say calculation was there, but out of 5 questions, only 2 questions are there in which some calculation part is actually involved, right? Rest of the questions we can do with the help of observation, right? So first thing is observe the table before solving the things. Second thing is, suppose if there are 2 ratios, how we can compare those 2 ratios to get the higher one and lesser one, right? So I hope this particular video will help you out in calculations and all, right? So thank you very much and all the best for your exam.